Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our virtual event, TTC Connects, Women as Transit Operators Information Session. Thank you for taking the time to participate today. We hope that you enjoy the session and find it insightful. My name is Shabnam Durrani, and I am the Head of Corporate Communications at the TTC, and I will be your moderator for today's session. We'd like to open today's session with a land acknowledgement. The land acknowledgement is considered a first step to acknowledge and honor the first peoples that have lived here for thousands of years and the enduring presence of Indigenous persons. Giving thanks, respect, and honoring the land and ancestors was and continues to be a common practice within Indigenous communities. The process of showing appreciation and giving thanks has a long history on these lands. Land acknowledgements are a small yet significant way to show respect and acknowledge the presence of Indigenous peoples, past and present.
We acknowledge the land we are traveling on is the traditional territory of many nations,
including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa,
the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge
that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa nations.
Land acknowledgements mark an important step in the process of reconciliation and building a positive relationship with Indigenous peoples. It involves thinking about what happened in the past and what changes can be made going forward. We're all accountable for these relationships. Every day I encourage you to take a moment and reflect on the land that you work, travel, and live on.
Before I review today's agenda, there are a few housekeeping items to address. We are using live media webcasting services platform for this session. We have many people registered for today, so all attendees will be muted. That means that we will invite your participation through the Q&A box. You can access this by clicking or tapping on the Q&A button on your screen or using the chat function. You can use this feature to submit a question for the TTC panel. The questions received are kept private, therefore no other attendees will be able to see the questions that you submit. We know that technological problems can and do happen, so we appreciate your patience with us. If you are having any issues, please feel free to also use the Q&A box to ask for help. Staff will monitor this throughout the meeting and do their best to help you out. The presentation and discussion today are closed captioned. You will see subtitles with black background and white words generated at the bottom of your screen. We also have ASL interpreters translating the content during today's presentation. After the event, please send any questions via email to transitoperator, all one word, at ttc.ca. This webinar is also being recorded and will be available for viewing online within a couple of days following the event. If you need to leave this information session early, that is fine. There are a few ways that you can stay in touch with the TTC. You can visit ttc.ca/jobs to create a profile and search for available jobs. You can even set up an email alert to be notified of new listings. You can also follow the TTC on Instagram at TakeTheTTC. Try out the Think TTC filter and picture yourself with your favorite mode, TTC streetcar, bus, subway, or Wheel-Trans. Also, share a video or photo of yourself using the filter and add #TTC Connects today, and your photo or video may be shared on the TTC's Instagram page. Follow the TTC on LinkedIn at Toronto Transit Commission, where you will find job postings as well as other informative posts featuring employees and current initiatives from our organization. The information will be provided again at the end of the session. For the session today, the TTC has prepared an exciting lineup of guest speakers to walk you through the many different aspects of the operator position at our organization, as well as sharing their own career journeys. Today's presentation will begin with opening remarks from the TTC's Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Kirsten Watson, and Keisha Campbell, Chief Diversity and Culture Officer. Elizabeth Martello will introduce you to the operator position and what to expect in the recruitment process. Barbara Battistuzzi will share insight about the training program, and Deborah Lyon will share her career journey. Tia Ananjit, a transit operator, will speak to the TTC being an exciting place to work and share a day in the life of her role as a TTC operator. We will have Bahar Tajrabakar, a diversity consultant, who will provide insight about diversity at the TTC and the opportunities that lie ahead for you. Followed by Elizabeth, once more, who will speak about connecting with community partners in your area. As I mentioned earlier, for the Q&A session, I will invite you to submit your questions using the Q&A feature. While you are welcome to submit them at any time, you may want to hold off until the open forum, as your question may be answered by one of the guest speakers during the presentation. Staff will respond live to questions as time allows. I'd now like to turn it over to our Deputy CEO, Kirsten Watson, to deliver her remarks. Kirsten, over to you.
Thank you, Shabnam. Good afternoon. I'm Kirsten Watson, Deputy CEO of the TTC. It is a pleasure to be here as one of the speakers of this virtual information session. While this event is open to everyone, it will provide a special opportunity for you to hear from diverse women about their own experiences working at the TTC. It will give you some insight into the life of a transit operator so that you can make an informed decision about whether you'd like to pursue a career at the TTC and join us. We've held several virtual sessions featuring different career opportunities over the last 2 years, and we are very pleased that there is so much interest out there about working here. Allow me to thank TTC staff from our talent management, marketing and customer experience, and corporate communications departments for making this event possible. Thanks also to all of our community partners who helped to promote this event. Really, our efforts are largely successful thanks to this community support. And a special thank you to you and to everyone who has joined us this afternoon and for your interest in the TTC. Thank you for making time for us today. I also bring greetings from our chair, Jay Robinson, and our board of commissioners, as well as from the CEO for the TTC, Rick Leary. As Deputy Chief Executive Officer, it gives me great pleasure to talk to you about the TTC and what it means to Toronto. In any serious discussion about our great city's future, you cannot leave out the importance of our public transit system. So let me just give you a few quick facts about the TTC. Last year, the Toronto Transit Commission marked its 100th anniversary, 100 years of serving the city of Toronto. We are the third largest transit system in North America. Only New York City and Mexico City carry more customers. Last year alone, we operated a total of 254 million kilometers of service. Nearly 85% of all public transit trips in the GTA are made on the TTC. Pre-pandemic, 1.7 million customer trips were taken on a typical workday on the TTC. We are now back to roughly 50% of that, and we are increasing every day as more people return to their work and regular activities. We're hard at work building a world-class transit system for Toronto, not just for the next 5 years, but long-term, over the next 25 years. We want to be more accessible, more efficient, more flexible, more innovative, more integrated, more reliable, and most importantly, more inclusive. The TTC is a good working environment with a high regard for both individual and team efforts. Many employees consider the TTC their second home. And the TTC has great benefits and a strong pension plan. You get to work outdoors and interact with the customers and the public, and you're always on the move. I've been here for many years, and so I will tell you, you get to work for the best transit system in North America. The team members addressing you this afternoon will offer a variety of perspectives and personal experiences for you to consider and take away. About 8 years ago, we set out to undertake one of the most substantial transformations I've ever seen at a large transit agency. We are modernizing our fleets, including our new electric buses, and we're transforming our culture and our people. So this means that we are working to build a workforce that better reflects the diverse city we serve and in turn enhance our relationships with our customers. So an important element of our new diversity plan is taking steps like this one this afternoon to attract a more diverse workforce and to put the structures in place to make sure we support that objective. To hold ourselves accountable, we have set a goal this year that at least 4 of every 10 new operators we hire identify as women. And I believe this is possible. I believe it starts here, and I believe it starts today. We can make a difference. Diversity and inclusion at the TTC matters. We want your enthusiasm, we want your ideas, and we want you to join us. I'd like to conclude my remarks by letting everyone know that I am incredibly proud of this organization and all the people who work tirelessly for the people of Toronto. I hope you enjoy today. It's going to be a fabulous event, and you're going to learn a lot, and you'll meet a lot of people. Enjoy yourselves and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kirsten. That was very thoughtful introduction. I'd now like to introduce Keisha Campbell, our Chief Diversity and Culture Officer, to say a few words. Keisha, over to you.
Thank you, Shabnam. So good afternoon, everyone. As Shabnam said, my name is Keisha Campbell, and I am the Chief Diversity and Culture Officer here at the TTC. I think I'm still a bit of a newbie. I just celebrated my 1 year anniversary, actually, as the first Chief Diversity and Culture Officer here. And since I'm in a relatively new role, I wanted to make sure I was here today to speak to you about my priorities and the importance of diversity and inclusion here at CTC. We all know that Toronto is one of the most diverse cities in the world. This city has one of the largest populations of foreign born residents, and half of all Torontonians come from somewhere outside of Canada, myself included. More than 50% of the GTA's population is female, and it's very important that the TTC reflects this diversity. I want to make sure we are attracting talent from all corners of the Greater Toronto Area, and this means doing everything we can to make the TTC a welcoming place to work. Events such as this one are just one of the ways that we're doing this. We are reaching out to people who don't usually see themselves working here, and we are encouraging them to apply. And we're working hard to make sure that all employees feel valued. I have spent a lot of time over the last year listening to better understand the TTC's history as well as its current state. I've spoken with well over 150 employees and partners, and one thing that is clear to me is that the TTC represents connection, which is fundamental in diversity and inclusion work. It's a great example of connection between employees, customers, and the community. And to me, the map of the TTC represents these connections. When we think about Rexdale, Little Portugal, Little India, and everywhere in between. We've done a lot of amazing things in the diversity and inclusion space, but we have a lot more work to do. And I'm hoping you can help us with this. As we continue to transform and modernize, we are looking to become more data driven and better understand where you are coming from and how you're hearing about us. Prior to this event, you were given an opportunity to respond to a survey that will help us understand the effectiveness of our outreach efforts and our marketing efforts for this event. We've reached out to organizations and schools that support diverse, skilled talent. And if you apply to any job at the TTC, a similar survey will be offered to you again to measure the effectiveness of how we advertise jobs. Know that recruiters and hiring managers will not be able to identify you or see your responses. And when hired on at the TTC, we will again ask new employees to complete a voluntary questionnaire to capture similar information. Taking these surveys is totally voluntary, and at every stage, the information that you provide is kept in the strictest confidence. All of this information allows us to better understand our workforce and assist when developing policies and programs designed to ensure equitable treatment of all of our employees. Before I hand it over to the next speaker, I want to mention that we have a lot of retirements coming up here at the TTC, which means there will be a number of jobs posted and we have a lot more to come. You can visit the ttc.ca to see the current job opportunities and register to get notifications of new jobs as they become available. Feel free to check us out on LinkedIn as well. In closing, I want to make sure you know what a special place it is to work here at the TTC. The TTC is part of every community in the city, and what we do can shape how people feel about Toronto. As I sort of suggested earlier, I wasn't born in Toronto, but some of my first opinions about the city was shaped by riding the rocket. I remember one day when I first arrived to Canada, I had to run an errand, do a transfer, and find my way through Toronto as a newcomer. I remember riding the 512 St. Clair West and really being terrified. I stood near to the front, near to the driver. He was polite, friendly, and helpful. He smiled. He was welcoming. And I think back on that now, and I can see the impact that this experience had on me. When you work at the TTC, you really do have the ability to make a difference, and it's something very unique. I'm glad you're here today. I've enjoyed my first year here at the TTC, and I'm looking forward to what is on the forefront for us. I'm excited that you want to be a part of this TTC family, and I hope you enjoy today's session.
Thank you so much, Keisha. I'm now going to turn it over to Elizabeth Martillo, who is in our talent acquisition department. So, Elizabeth, over to you.
Thank you, Shabnam. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for attending the Women as Transit Operators information session. We're here today to give you more information about the TTC and to show you why joining the TTC as a transit operator is only the first stop to your new career path. We've invited some really great women to come and speak with us today about working at the TTC and to share their experiences, their good times, and some of their challenges. Throughout our presentation, you will begin to understand why the TTC is continually recognized as the top employer in the GTA and Canada. The transit operator position is the most recruited at the TTC, with over 40% of TTC employees being an operator. They play a key role in keeping people moving throughout the city of Toronto. Our operators are assigned to one of four different modes of transportation: bus, streetcar, subway, wheel trans, and in the near future, light rail transit with the opening of Crosstown. How you are chosen for mode depends on the TTC's workforce requirements. However, the majority of our new hires do begin on the bus. We will now discuss the requirements for the transit operator position. The minimum job requirement for this position are non-probationary Ontario G driver's license in good standing, a driver's abstract acceptable to TTC, and a grade 12 secondary school diploma, GED, or its recognized equivalent. More in-depth information about our requirements can be found on our website, ttc.ca/jobs. Now, getting vaccinated remains one of the most important ways TTC employees can protect each other and our community. This is why we've made COVID-19 vaccines mandatory for all TTC employees, contractors, and students as of September 7th, 2021. It is important to understand that the TTC has the right to request that all employees receive their COVID-19 vaccination and that they confidentially disclose their vaccination status as a condition of employment. To find out more about our mandatory vaccination policy, you can always visit our website, TTC website. We remain committed to these actions as a safety as safety is the cornerstone of everything that we do and means keeping our employees safe on the job. Our operators are among the best paid in the province, and the salary is negotiated by the union with a paid training program. As a unionized member of the Local 113 Amalgamated Transit Union, your starting rate is $28.86 an hour, and you will receive an annual salary increase until you reach the top of the rate, which is currently $37.68 an hour. Our comprehensive benefits package includes group life insurance, health, dental, and vision care. All full time regular employees contribute to an employer matched pension plan, and these benefits become available to you after 6 months of full time regular employment. Our operators play a key role in delivering an essential service to the City of Toronto. We are constantly growing, and despite the pandemic, this is a very exciting time to be part of the ongoing modernization taking place at the TTC. We also offer opportunities for growth. Lots of transit operators choose to stay within the operations branch. For example, some choose to pursue a career as an operations supervisor, transit control dispatchers, or station supervisors. Other operators will choose a completely different path and move into positions such as training instructor, divisional manager, or even go into skilled trades. The options for growth within the TTC are endless. We also offer in house training and career development programs. Career and education advisors are always available to help employees with resume building and interview preparation. They also provide consultation regarding your future career goals. Our next slide will help us focus on safety at the TTC. Safety and security form the foundation of our culture and is part of what the TTC stands for. Our most important job is to ensure the safety and security of our customers, employees, and everyone around us. Over the past several years, we have been implementing a safety, health, and environment management system. The purpose of the system is to manage our occupational health and safety, customer and operational safety, and environmental risk. In order to ensure an effective system, TTC follows four steps: plan, do, check, and act. Policies and programs have also been developed to support the system and ensure employee, customer, and public safety. We all play a role in ensuring the TTC is a safe place to work. The internal responsibility system does require everyone to have direct responsibility for health and safety as part of their job. Now, the TTC continues to follow Toronto public health guidelines regarding COVID 19. Throughout the pandemic, we have implemented robust measures to keep customers and employees safe. We conduct daily vehicle cleanings and installed hand sanitizing stations across our platforms and services. Our employees have followed strict COVID 19 protocols and are provided additional support through the distribution of additional PPE, personal protective equipment. Items such as wipes, gloves, mask, sanitizer, eye protection, and protective shields. Some of you may be familiar with Rocketman apps. TTC has partnered with Rocketman apps to provide customers with real time bus passenger information. The purpose is to provide you with as much information regarding occupancy as possible in order for you to determine whether or not you'd like to take the next available bus. We also continue to give away masks to customers in need. To date, we have distributed about a little over 2 million masks, and our dedicated safety and environment department is laser focused on employee health and safety throughout all workplaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I look forward to hearing from you later on. And now I'd like to introduce Barbara Battistuzzi, who works in our Operations Training Center as an instructor. Barbara, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shabna. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barbara. I'm a Chief Instructor at the Operations Training Center, what we refer to as OTC. I started my career with the TTC 18 years ago as a streetcar operator. I've been working at the Operations Training Center for 13 of those 18 years. I've had the pleasure of watching hundreds of trainees transition into long term rewarding careers. I love my job. It has allowed me to develop so many great relationships, and I've been able to provide for my two teenage daughters and be a role model to them. I am pleased to be speaking to you all today about what to expect from our training team once you are hired on as an operator. Our instructors are highly skilled and dedicated training professionals with years of operations experience combined with adult education certification. Our team is here for you. We will go to great lengths to help you succeed. It is what we do. Our training programs require a commitment from you. The time you invest in your training will help you succeed as well. There is reading to do, nightly homework to complete, and practical and driving skills to demonstrate each and every day. Being well rested and having the support of your family during this time is essential. Invest in your success. It is worth it. A fulfilling career will follow with many opportunities to grow, as Elizabeth was stating. There are four transit modes and one coming. So as an operator, you could be trained on the bus, the subway, the streetcar, Wheel-Trans, and coming soon, the LRT Eglinton line. And then will be followed by the Finch line, which will be line 6 in the near future. All of our programs are between 25 and 32 days long with paid training. Our training usually takes place Monday to Friday, and it can be both AM and PM shifts. The hours for the AM shifts are usually 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., with some taking place 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And our PM shifts are usually from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Our training programs take place at various locations throughout the city. Customer service is at the core of everything we do at TTC. All of our courses include customer service training. We also teach human rights, diversity and inclusion, Ontario Health and Safety Act, Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, WHMIS, Workplace Hazardous Material and Information System, and transit safety. I'll get into more specifics of each of the programs to give you a better idea. So our bus initial training is a 25-day program. The course consists of both AM and PM timeframes. It includes in-class and on-street driving, nightly homework, as well as written and practical tests. Our tests require 80% to pass. The first 16 days of the program consist of MTO, Ministry of Transportation material, with the aim of bringing the trainee up to the required CZ class of license. Upon completion of the MTO requirements, you are introduced to more TTC-specific curriculum. After day 16, you will be driving a bus on various routes picking up customers. 3 days are with divisional trainers, which is what we call, which is peer training, and these days allow you to get the full experience of a bus operator. Upon completion of this course, you will have a CZ license. Subway training. Our subway initial training is a 30 to 32 day program, depending on which line you are on. Subways are rail vehicles. They operate mostly underground on dedicated tracks throughout the city. The course consists of both AM and PM timeframes. The course includes in-class and on-vehicle driving, nightly homework, as well as written and practical tests requiring 80% to pass. Training consists of learning how to operate and guard the train, with most of the operating time spent picking up customers. Disablements are taught and tested. A mandatory track walk is also completed with a live train passing you at 15 kilometers an hour. 8 days with various shifts are with divisional trainers, the peer training, and these days allow you to get the full experience of a subway operator. Our streetcar initial training is a 28-day program. Streetcars are rail vehicles operated on tracks in the center of the road in mixed traffic or on dedicated tracks. The course consists of both AM and PM timeframes, including in-class and on-vehicle driving, nightly homework, and written and practical tests requiring 80% to pass. You'll be operating a streetcar on various routes during various times, including AM and PM rush hours. The on-street operation includes picking up customers by day 11. Disablements are taught and tested. 8 days with various shifts are with divisional trainers, which is the peer training, and these days allow you to get the full experience of a streetcar operator. Our Wheel-Trans. Wheel-Trans initial training is a 30-day program beginning at 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. from Monday to Friday. On the second Friday, there is a night drive component from 3 to 11 p.m. The first 13 days of the program consists of MTO material with the aim of bringing the trainee up to the required F class of license, similar to the ambulance, and can carry up to 10 people. Upon completion of the MTO requirements, you are then introduced to more TTC Wheel-Trans specific curriculum, such as securements and more information on the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. The course includes in-class and on-vehicle driving, nightly homework, written and practical tests requiring 80% to pass. 8 days are with divisional trainers, again, the peer training, and you get the full experience of a Wheel-Trans operator. Our light rail vehicle or light rail transit training, which will be coming sometime in 2022, is estimated to be approximately a 30-day program. The light rail vehicles are rail vehicles, meaning they're on dedicated tracks, both underground and above ground. For any of you who have been near Eglinton Avenue in the last few years, you will have seen the construction. The course will consist of both AM and PM timeframes. The course will include in-class and on-vehicle driving, nightly homework, written and practical tests requiring 80% to pass. Training will consist of learning how to operate the train. Disablements will be taught and tested. Divisional training or peer training will be included to allow for the full experience of an LRT vehicle operator. And I would like to comment a little bit on safety in training. Elizabeth spoke to this a little bit, but I would like to also emphasize that we take safety very seriously in all of our training and in all aspects of operations and maintenance here at TTC. It's what we're known for. A safe and healthy workplace protects our employees from injury and illness, reduces absenteeism and turnover, and increases productivity, raises employee morale, and reduces costs. We want everyone to go home safely to their families every night. Our motto is work safe, home safe. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Barbara. I feel like I actually learned a lot from your presentation. I'd now like to introduce Deborah Lyons, who is the head of streetcar transportation here at the TTC, to fill us in on her career here. Deborah, over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Shabnam. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. As mentioned, my name is Deb Lyon, and I'm the head of streetcar transportation. And I'm going to speak to you a little bit today about my career journey here at the TTC. So I'm currently in my 23rd year of service at the TTC. I started my career as a subway operator, then progressed to auxiliary instructor with the training department, and then subway supervisor. Over the years, I've held more progressively responsible roles. I became a divisional assistant manager in 2012. I then progressed to manager for both the Wilson and Bloor Danforth subway divisions, and I'm now the head of streetcar transportation, as previously mentioned. This organization has provided me with a myriad of opportunities, and I feel fortunate for the career I've developed here at the TTC. I remember feeling completely overwhelmed when I found out I got the job as an operator, because I knew it was going to change my life, and it really did. As a single mom, working for the TTC afforded me the opportunity to provide for my son, and I was so grateful to have such a stable job with great healthcare benefits, wages, and a pension plan. Working for the TTC also provided me with opportunities to do things I never thought I would or even could. I couldn't have imagined then the path my career would eventually take. You know, I still remember my first day on my own as a new subway operator after training was complete. I could not believe they were letting me drive this massive train with all these people on board. It was really exciting, and I encountered so many different scenarios every day. I enjoyed being a part of something so big and so important. Transit is such a vital part of our city, and getting people to and from work, school, appointments, or just getting them where they need to go made me feel like I was making a contribution to my city. I found working with the public to be very rewarding, and I loved being a subway operator. One of the benefits I found when I was an operator was the ability to choose my hours of work and my days off. I was able to choose work around my son's schedule, which was really helpful. And that's not to say there weren't some challenges, there were. I did work many holidays and various shifts, but in the end, my family's workaround for the various shifts that I worked was to celebrate whatever event I couldn't attend on a different day. And like anything worthwhile in life, there's always a bit of give and take, right? So for me, the positives have always outweighed any challenges I've encountered working for the TTC. Now, what I thought was a great job turned into an exciting career. When I became aware of opportunities, I started applying for other positions, and before I knew it, a whole other world opened up for me. You know, back when I started in 1999, there were not many women operators at the TTC. And I'm so pleased to see that we as an organization have recognized the imbalance in our workforce and are proactively working to address it with events such as this. Streetcar Transportation, my department, recently piloted the TTC's first ever mentorship program featuring the first all-female graduating class of streetcar operators. The program was a huge success and indicative of great things to come for our organization. I am proud of the path I have forged for myself here at the TTC, and proud to say that I've been part of new initiatives and transit growth within our great city. Starting out as a transit operator for the TTC, I think you'll find that the possibilities really are endless. So if you're interested in pursuing an exciting career, I encourage you to apply to become a transit operator as a first step and see where that may lead. I thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Deb. I hope everyone is enjoying the virtual event so far. So far this afternoon, we've heard from our Deputy CEO, Kirsten Watson, Keisha Campbell, our Chief Diversity and Culture Officer, as well as TTC employees, Elizabeth, Barbara, and Deb, who've shared a lot about the operator position as well as their journeys here at this organization. At this time, we'd like to invite your participation in a live poll we've created to learn more about you and to see how useful the information presented to you has been so far. You will be able to see the questions for the poll on the screen. So the first one, do you have a full Ontario G-Class license or higher? And the second one is, do you possess a grade 12 education or recognized equivalent? So if you could just take a moment to fill out the quick poll, we will hopefully see what the results are soon. Great. So I see the results actually are coming in. I have them open on my browser over here. Great. So a lot of people with a G-Class license and a lot of people with grade 12 or equivalent. That's wonderful. Maybe I'll give it just a few more minutes or a few more seconds. Great. I just have it on my screen over here. So thank you so much for filling out that poll. We now have a short 4-minute video to share with you. I'm getting a message here from one of our tech people. If you can't see the poll, if you just want to scroll down. Anyways, hopefully you've seen it. And now I will share with you a short 4-minute video. In this video, you will hear from female operator employees who will share their experiences and the benefits of being at the TTC.
What I love about being a TTC operator is driving around the city that I love the most.
Hi, my name is Lauren and I love driving trains.
I love people, I love the public, I love the diversity of people that I get to meet on a daily basis.
My name is Suzette. I've been a bus, streetcar, and now a wheel-trans operator.
We have some great customers that we get to know over the years.
We have some regulars that's been here and they wave and they remember you, they know your name, and that's also very rewarding.
You're able to take educational programs that you need in order to get to wherever you need to go to.
Once I completed training, I definitely felt like I was ready to handle this vehicle by myself without any help. Their training program is extremely extensive. It's over like a month long.
They train you how to deal with the public and to deal with people because we're dealing with people from different walks of life.
I can guide them. Even if I do not understand their language, I can find a way to help them.
The thing I took most from my prior jobs into this job is my customer service background.
You're not limited here, and that's what I love about it.
I feel empowered at the wheel, and I enjoy the ability to work in a predominantly male position.
I absolutely love being a female in this workplace.
I'm a mother of 2. I have been able to make a balance in my life. You have to work your schedule out. If I can do it, anybody else can do it.
This job allows you to pick the schedules that fit best for your lifestyle.
I usually choose split shifts because I love split shift. It works convenient for my life.
During the pandemic, it has been very challenging, but we are doing our part to support the city.
I'm like, I drive the streetcars and their eyes just light up and they're like, oh, that's awesome, good for you. And it makes you feel good.
When I have on a Toronto Transit uniform and I walk out there, the respect you get from the public, it's amazing.
You're the captain of your ship, right? And you're responsible for all those people.
When somebody said to me, you know what, thank you so much, I appreciate you, you've done a great job.
When I see little kids and they're like, I always way back and in streetcar, whenever they would do the same thing, I would gong at them. Ding ding!
Somebody saying thank you to me with a big smile makes my day.
It's nothing that we can't do. And I've been doing it for 10 years. I also like the fact that I don't have to be in an office. The bus is my office and the bus moves. So my scenery changes throughout the day.
If you really like to be on the move and on the go all the time, you'll love it.
It's a fantastic, amazing, fun job, and I think you should just go ahead and apply and just take the leap and just do it.
Do it. Like you'll be self-sufficient. You can take care of you and your family if you have one. You're going to meet so many people and have so many opportunities. It's the best thing I've done.
This job will provide you with independence, growth opportunities, and financial stability.
After you retire, you will be comfortable. You'll be able to do the things you still want to do. You'll still be comfortable in your retirement.
Working for this company was the best decision I have ever made.
I have no problem getting up in the morning to come to Wheel-Trans because I love my job.
As a woman working at a Toronto Transit, you're given equal opportunity. The sky is the limit wherever you want to take it. It's a great opportunity for women.
TTC has so much to offer, so many opportunities, a lot of education if you want to get it, a lot of flexibility. So it's such a good opportunity for you and your family.
That was a great video. I think I've seen it about 10 times, and every time it still brings a smile to my face. So now I would like to introduce Tia Ananjit, who is a transit operator, and she can tell us about her experience here at the TTC. Tia, over to you.
Thank you, Shabnam. Hi, my name is Tia, and I've been an operator at the TTC for almost 10 years. I'm currently a bus operator at our Eglinton division, and it's my job today to give you a glimpse of what it's like to be a transit operator. Working at the TTC is a unique experience. Some would call it more of a lifestyle than just a job. It requires a very specific work-life and family balance, but it also allows for flexibility that other jobs don't. In my years at the TTC, I have been a student, I've gotten married, I've moved multiple times, and most recently become a mother. Working at the TTC has given me the flexibility to pick shifts that suit my family and maintain a lifestyle that I enjoy. The TTC operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and in order to accommodate this, we have shifts that come in all shapes and sizes. Some operators start work as early as 4 o'clock in the morning, often working until noon or 1 p.m. Others work midday or afternoon shifts, and while some others work our night bus shifts, which typically start at 9 p.m. and finish after 5 a.m. Another common type of shift we have at the TTC are split shifts. In this case, you'd work 3 to 4 hours in the morning, have a 4-hour break, and finish your shift in the afternoon. We do this to accommodate the 2 rush hours. I worked this type of shift for many years, and at first it was a difficult adjustment. But once I learned to really utilize the time with my splits, they became a favorite of mine. We pick our own shifts for a 4 to 6 week period, typically a month in advance. The selection is seniority based, so the more senior you are, the more choices you'll have. Most of us work the same shift each week for 4 to 6 weeks. However, others do a different shift every week to cover others' vacations. And some operators elect to be on our spare board, which means they do a different shift every day, including standby. I personally love the flexibility that comes with having hundreds of shifts to choose from. It can be an adjustment if you're used to working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but there are perks to all of our shifts. We also pick our days off when we pick shifts. Because the TTC operates 7 days a week, we have varying off days. 99% of the time, it's 2 consecutive days in the week. However, they could be any 2 days. Currently, my days off are Tuesday and Wednesday, and I typically work from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Everything at the TTC is scheduled right to the minute. This includes both the bus schedules and our individual schedules. For example, I report for work at 6:16 a.m. If I arrive at 6:20, I'd be considered late. I operate my first vehicle from 6:26 to 11:31, and then I have a short break. I operate my second bus from 11:54 to 3:39. It's also important to note that our breaks are not always at our divisions. Sometimes they're at subway stations, or in the case of the route I'm driving, the break is at a designated bus stop. We also have some shifts that don't have breaks. Operators doing those shifts drive for 7 to 9 hours straight. However, they always make time for the washroom. We also pick our vacation based on seniority, but in smaller groups to give everyone a more fair chance. Vacation is selected in the fall for the entire upcoming year. This is one instance when coordinating with your friends and family is necessary since we choose our time off so far in advance. 99% of the time, our vacation time is scheduled in 1-week blocks. If you have special events you'd like to attend, it's important that you consider this when choosing your work, days off, and vacation time. In the event that you're unable to get vacation or an off day for your special occasion, another option would be a shift exchange with another operator. For this and many other reasons, it's important to be a team player, even though we mostly work alone. In your first year on the job, you will not have any vacation time. The second year, you'll get 2 weeks. In your third year, you get 3 weeks, and vacation time increases to a maximum of 6 weeks with your years of service. Our probationary period is 10 months, and during this time, your union representation is lessened, and it's extremely important to maintain a clean driving record and good attendance during these 10 months, but also for your entire career. As transit operators, we spend long periods of time on the road and see weather conditions change, construction, and traffic on a much higher level than most users of the road. Each of these elements impacts our work as professional drivers, and we are required to and trained to operate safely in all conditions and remain patient. It's also our responsibility to arrive on work on time. However, when we're in service, if delays occur, the route supervisors will make adjustments as needed. We are also responsible for maintaining a calm demeanor and communicating delays and service advisories to our customers. This brings me to another major component of our job. As transit operators, we are required to operate our vehicles safely, but we're also responsible for customer service. We are the frontline workers of the TTC, and we get a wide array of questions from our customers. Sometimes they're looking for schedule or route information, directions, or even restaurant recommendations. Our customers expect courteous and helpful responses to their questions. If you don't know the answer, it's important to remain patient and professional and direct them to resources at our hand like 393 Info or a customer service agent. Another aspect of our job is fare collection. This applies to customer service agents and bus operators as our subway and streetcar operators no longer collect fares. During training, we focus heavily on safe operation of our vehicles, but we also discuss the TTC's fare structure and policies. In this part of our job, it's important to use your sound judgment and remember that our role is to educate, not enforce. At no time should you do anything to jeopardize the safety of yourself or your passengers. In most cases, we'd say use common sense. Analyze the situation and use your discretion, especially as we continue to transition to Presto fares. As I've already mentioned, we are the frontline workers of the TTC, and it's important for us to be courteous while continuing safe operation. This includes providing assistance to passengers with language barriers and varying accessibility needs. There are over 140 languages spoken in the GTA. While we don't expect you to speak all of these languages, you will sometimes have to communicate with customers who don't speak English. Once again, it's important to utilize your resources, including other passengers and your route supervisors or customer service agents. You'll also be trained on how to operate the TTC's accessibility equipment. It's our responsibility as operators to ensure these features are in working order throughout the day so we can ensure all of our passengers get where they're going safely and in a timely manner. The TTC is an amazing organization to work for. Every day, our operators make a difference in this city. With over 13,000 employees, the TTC has jobs of all kinds in all kinds of departments and offers many opportunities for growth. As a TTC operator, you'll be an integral part of the community. I take pride in my work and hope that you're successful in the hiring process so you'll be able to join us too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tia. It's time now for another poll. So this one is actually to help us better understand how to do these sessions in the future and how to improve on them. So 2 questions. Is this session helping you to better understand the transit operator position at the TTC? And the second one is, after all that you have heard so far, do you think you will apply? So if you just scroll up, you'll be able to see the questions, and I'll just give it a moment. Oh. So the answers are starting to come in. Great. It does seem that we are going to be getting some people applying, so that is good. Good news. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes. Sorry, a few more moments. I keep saying minutes, and I realize that is not the right time measurement. All right, great. So we'll move to our next speaker. You can still have a few moments to fill in the 2 questions. And now I would like to introduce Bahar Tajrabekar, who works in our diversity and culture group. Bahar is going to speak with you today about our commitments to diversity and inclusion as an organization. Bahar, over to you.
Thank you, Shabnam. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here and attending this event today. As Shabnam mentioned, my name is Bahar. I am a diversity consultant at the TTC, and I've been here just over a year. So I'm a newbie as well. This is my first full-time permanent position after finishing my degree. I did many, many years in academic settings, doing my studies and research, and my specific field was anti-racism. So I was able to translate my knowledge and my degree into the field of diversity and inclusion. I do want to talk about the benefits of D&I and D&I being diversity and inclusion, and why the TTC cares about diversity and inclusion. But first, I'll provide some definitions. So diversity for us, the way we define it at the TTC is recognizing the many characteristics that make people unique. And this could be the different dimensions of your identity. Inclusion is valuing and supporting those individual differences, those different dimensions of your identity. So a metaphor that's sometimes helpful is diversity is like being invited to a party, whereas inclusion is like being asked to dance. And you can see how we can have diversity without inclusion, right? And those are both priorities at the TTC. As an organization that serves the City of Toronto, we strive and we aspire to be a welcoming space for everyone and to be representative of the customers and the communities that we serve. Last year, we launched the 10-point action plan for diversity and inclusion. And an important item on this action plan is the recruitment of women. We know that over 50% of Toronto's population is female, and 65% of our customers are actually women. However, only 16.6% of our workforce are women. And this is a gap that we've recognized and we've dedicated focused effort to addressing it. So for this reason, one of our main priorities is hiring more women. In 2021, we had the goal of hiring at least 4 women for every 10 transit operators. And we actually surpassed this goal by 20%. So 60% of our hires were women. We have similar goals for 2022. And we've refocused our outreach and hiring strategies to take a more targeted approach with gender equity. And we're paying attention not just to recruiting more women, but also establishing and promoting structures that ensure that the women that come in are supported in their new roles and they see the opportunity to advance within the organization. So, for example, this year we launched a pilot mentorship program for frontline women, streetcar operators specifically, in order to provide support for the women that are entering the TTC for the first time. This mentorship program provided a forum for new women operators to build relationships with senior leadership, to learn more about opportunities, development opportunities, professional opportunities available at the TTC, and the different resources of which there are plenty in this organization. Another project that's underway in this regard is the audit of our built environment for inclusivity and accessibility. We're currently conducting an audit to ensure that all the TTC facilities and physical spaces are accommodating the needs of women and other diverse groups as well. So I want to take the opportunity to reiterate the importance of responding to the voluntary diversity and inclusion questionnaire. This is really the type of data that really drives what we do, our work in the diversity department, and it allows us to develop programs and policies that accurately address the needs of our employees and our customers. So if you didn't fill out the questionnaire when you registered, I'd really recommend and encourage you to take a few minutes to fill it out. That specific survey will help us understand the effectiveness of this outreach program and also future similar programs and events that we'll have. You can complete it by going to the registration page. It will be available for a few days after this event. And yeah, thank you for counting yourself in. Also note that the recruiters and the hiring managers will not be able to identify you or see your responses. So your responses will be confidential. Lastly, I want to talk about opportunities again in general at the TTC. Currently, the TTC has a number of other jobs posted. You can check www.ttc.ca to see our current opportunities, or check the opportunities on LinkedIn if you're on that social media. I think it would be a good idea to also, when you visit the website, register so that you get email notifications for new jobs as they become available. You can also feel free to share this information with family and friends and your social circles so that they're also aware of these opportunities at the TTC. And if you do end up applying to the transit operator role when it's posted or any other job, you will be asked on the application the question, where did you hear about this job? And one of our outreach partners may have referred you. So I encourage you to include this referral on the application or in your cover letter. And this will allow us to have open conversations with our community partners about how the TTC can assist job seekers to be successful. So with that being said, thank you again for attending this event, and I hope you find it useful. Thanks, Shabnam.
Thank you, Bahar. That was great. I'm now going to invite back Elizabeth Martillo to tell you about how to get job ready here at the TTC. Elizabeth, over to you.
Thank you, Shabnam. Thank you, Shabnam. Okay, so we're going to focus on getting you job ready. In preparation for applying for the transit operator position, there are many community employment agencies that provide free support to help candidates with employment services, and they may increase your opportunities in the recruitment process. Employment specialists, job developers at these agencies are available for a one-on-one mentoring and support. So please visit feat.findhelp.ca for more information. Again, that's feat.findhelp.ca for more information about employment community services. When going through our list of employment opportunities, you may find that you're interested in more than one posting. So please make sure to take the time to tailor your cover letter and your resume according to each job posting. Highlight your education, certification, skills, knowledge, and experience, and definite qualifications that match each individual job posting. Best of luck. Thank you again, Shabnam.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And now it's time to hear from you. So, as we mentioned near the start of the program, please submit your questions via the chat function. As we have many people participating, we do apologize in advance if your question cannot be addressed during the webinar today. We do our best to select questions that are both common as well as unique, and hopefully your question will be answered. Or you can also send additional questions to our email address at transitoperator@ttc.ca. Transit operator is all one word and all lowercase. I'd like to remind everyone that the session today is being recorded. So if you are unable to stay for the remainder of the session, or you just might want to watch it again, all attendees will be provided with a link to watch the recording. We thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And now I guess we're going to open it up for questions. You know what? I just have one that I'll kick off. I've done a few of these. This is one that people always ask. I was wondering what requirements or qualifications I would need in order to get hired at the TTC as an operator. So, Elizabeth, this one's over to you. What do people need?
Yeah, for sure. Good question, Shabnam. So the transit operator position requires you to have an Ontario Class G driver's license, a driver's abstract in good standing, and a minimum of a grade 12 diploma or Canadian equivalency if your credentials are obtained outside of Canada. If you meet these qualifications, then you're welcome to apply. And you can also find further information about the qualifications and requirements on our website. That's ttc.ca/jobs. Thank you.
Great, Elizabeth. I actually think this This next question's for you as well. So are there other opportunities beside the transit operator position? So this individual doesn't meet the driver's license requirement, but still would like to work for the TTC doing something else. What should they do?
Yeah, great question. Well, if you haven't done so already, please create a candidate profile on our career website. Here you'll be able to view our current list of employment opportunities. Once your profile is created, you can then apply for any position that interests you. We do have positions, as I explained before, in all areas: engineering, human resource, transportation, and training, just to name a few. So if you're interested, or if you're interested in a position and it is not posted, you can set up job email alerts tailored to your specific career goals. That way, when that job posting does come up, you'll be notified right away.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. You know what? Here's another one that's kind of related, I think, but maybe on the other end of the spectrum. So I currently have my CZ license and drive a truck. Do I still need to go through the training program? I'm going to turn this one over to Barbara from OTC. So Barbara, what does this person need to do? Do they still need to train?
Yes. So even if you already come to us with an upgraded license, you still have to go through the
Oh, you
entire
know what, Barbara?
TTC
Do you want
training.
to turn on your microphone? Sorry, I don't know if your mic's on or not. I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Oh, now you're good. Sorry about that.
Okay, sorry, that was my fault. Yes, so if you already have an upgraded license, you do have to go through the entire transit operator training program. But your previous driving experience will be a great asset. You will have you'll be already familiar with some of the operating rules, but we will be starting you from day one.
Great. Thank you, Barbara. Oh, here's a great question. So, how do the uniforms work? Do I have to pay for them? Do you guys offer dry cleaning services? Tia, I feel like this might be a big part of your life as an operator here. Can you tell us about the uniforms?
Of course. Uniforms are issued to new operators at no cost and to all other operators every 2 years. Employees are also able to purchase additional uniform pieces if they'd like. One of the many benefits that we also get is dry cleaning services. So we're given vouchers every year that we can use to have our uniform dry cleaned, as it's very important that we have a clean uniform on the job since we're the face of the TTC.
Thank you, Tia. Here's a good one. So I'm a guy, and I attended this event to learn more about working at the TTC in this position, and I am interested. Can I still apply? Bahar, this sounds like a diversity and inclusion question. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Shabnam. So again, this is a special program that's intended to educate women about the transit operator position. And with initiatives like this, TTC's aiming to close the gap, right, between the number of women and employees in this role. So while everyone is encouraged to apply, the goal really is to increase the number of employees from underrepresented groups. And so applications from qualified women, candidates who are women, will be considered first for this role.
Thank you, Bahar. Here's a question. What modes are we currently hiring for? Elizabeth, can you shed a bit of light on this?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So we hire for all modes, and your one application will be considered for all modes. This includes bus, streetcar, subway, wheel-trans, and LRT. You cannot select your specific mode of interest. However, at the time of training, depending on workforce needs, that's how we determine where you will be placed. Thank you, Sahar. Sahar. Thank you, Shabnam.
That's okay, Elizabeth. You know what? You're not off the hook that easily because I think this next question's for you as well. What if I need help with my interview skills? So, Elizabeth, what should people do?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. So you could connect with your local outreach partner or employment agency for assistance in preparing for an interview. As I mentioned before, you can visit feach.findhelp.ca. So again, that's FEAT dot findhelp, one word, .ca to locate the closest Employment Ontario service provider or community agency in your area, and they will be able to assist you with the employment process, resume, and preparation for interview.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. Barbara, I think this next question is good for you. How should I prepare for the job?
Thanks. I would say there isn't really preparation as far as, getting ready. You won't know the material until day one when we give you a lot of books. So please bring a knapsack. We do offer an intensive training program which goes over all the requirements of the position. It's important to attend, pay attention, ask questions, take notes, and complete any assigned homework. I would say the one thing you could prepare is your family. For those of you who have folks you live with or any family members, it is a commitment. So you want to make sure you're preparing the rest of the folks that live with you for what's coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. So here's the next question. Do you only hire people who live in Toronto? Bahar, do you mind taking this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, we are committed to diversity and inclusion. We encourage participation from all job seekers, and all of our divisions are located within the city of Toronto. As long as you're able to meet the minimum qualifications, and you are eligible to apply for this position, regardless of your address.
Thank you, Bahar. Uh, so this next question is actually about COVID, and obviously as relevant today as it was 2 years ago, this question. What safety measures are in place? What measures are in place to protect passengers and employees from COVID-19? Tia, can I turn this one over to you? I feel you must live this one every day.
Of course, Shabnam. As has been mentioned many times, safety is paramount to all we do here at the TTC. The safety of our employees and our customers is what guides our decision making. To protect customers, we've introduced multiple daily vehicle cleanings. We're deploying additional services to some of our busiest routes throughout the city to reduce crowding. We have hand sanitizer available in the stations and on streetcars, and we continue to give away masks. I think they mentioned we've given away more than 2 million masks in stations and on the bus network. We've also taken a number of steps to protect our employees, which include providing additional support through the distribution of personal protective equipment like wipes, gloves, masks, sanitizer, eye protection, and use of protective shields. Our dedication and safety to the Environment Department is laser focused on employee health and safety throughout all workplaces, and the TTC has mandated the use of masks and face coverings on all its vehicles and property for those who are able to wear one. This applies to both customers and employees and has been extended until June 11th currently.
Thank you, Tia. You know what, Barbara? Next question I think is yours. What is involved in training?
Okay, great question. So our training program, I would say, is similar to a college level program. So we have both written and practical driving tests along with every night homework. Our department will ensure that you are able to operate the TTC mode that you've been placed into, and we will prepare you for the day-to-day scenarios of the role. We do things like practice with ramps on vehicles and have you uh, push someone who uses a wheelchair up and down the ramp. We have lots of practice role playing scenarios that we do, and we definitely go through route knowledge. And for those who aren't familiar with downtown Toronto or the routes in the city, maybe perhaps you live in the GTA, we go over that as well so that you're comfortable when you're day one on your own, you're all set to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Oh, so Elizabeth, I'm going to give you this next question, and it is a good one, I think. So I have a speeding ticket for 10 kilometers over. Is that okay? What is considered a good driver's abstract, and where can I get my driver's abstract?
Yeah, very good question. You can attain your driver's abstract online at the ontario.ca website or any MTO office that you visit. This document will outline how many offenses and demerit points you have on your driving record over the last 3 years. There are a certain combination of offenses and demerit points that are acceptable at the TTC, which we call good standing. 0 or 1 offense with 0 to 3 demerit points is acceptable. 2 offenses with 0 to 2 demerit points is also acceptable. You must, however, obtain or must be within the acceptable range throughout the entire recruitment process. If over the last 3 years you only have 1 offense, which is the 10 kilometers over the speeding limit, with 0 demerit points, then you do have a good standing driver's abstract and you're welcome to apply. We will request a driver's abstract during the recruitment process, and it is time sensitive. So if you are going to print one, don't print one now. Just wait until we ask for you to print one out. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Um, here's a good one. Why is the TTC focused suddenly on hiring women? Bahar, are you able to speak to that?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. So, as I mentioned, we know that over 50% of Toronto's population is female, and over 65% of our customers are women. And however, women are underrepresented in the transit operator position, and so this program that we have, the special program, is specifically intended to increase the representation of women in this specific position. That's why.
Thank you, Bahar. Next question is, what are the shifts like at the TTC? Do you get breaks? Tia, this looks like a great question for you. Over to you.
Of course. So as I mentioned, the TTC operates 24/7, and to do so, we have shifts in all shapes and sizes. In my 10 years, I have done all different kinds of shifts. They include mornings, afternoons, days, nights, split shifts. We work weekends and holidays. We also work on varying types of shifts throughout the year. So you can choose to work early in the morning at one point in time and then change later on if you'd like to, since we get to pick our own shifts. We do get breaks. As I mentioned, sometimes most shifts have a scheduled break, sometimes at a subway station or even just at the side of the road. So the shift that I drive has a designated bus stop where I get a 15-minute break every day. There is not a station or a lunchroom or even a washroom there, so I make other time to use the facilities. We do have shifts, though, that don't have breaks. So as I mentioned before, mostly the late night, so the shifts that start after 2 p.m., they work sometimes 2 to 10, or the late night, 9 p.m. till 5 in the morning. There is no scheduled break, so there's not like a 15 minutes for dinner or lunch, but there are always times to use the washrooms.
Thank you, Tia. Thank you. That's good to know. Next question: Are there any age restrictions on applying to the TTC? Elizabeth, over to you.
Sure. Well, TTC does require that you have your Ontario G driver's license in good standing, an acceptable driver's abstract, and your minimum grade 12 high school diploma or the equivalent. So as long as you're able to meet those qualifications, then yes, you are more than eligible to apply for the position. There is some things to consider. For example, under the Income Tax Act, you must start drawing on your TTC pension by the end of the year in which you turn 71, but you may elect to continue working.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. Oh, you know what? This question's a good one for women. What do you do about daycare? Tia, over to you. I think you had mentioned you have a little one now.
I do. My daughter actually just turned 2 years old this week. So childcare is something that I had to consider when I returned to work after my maternity leave. Thankfully, my partner is also a TTC operator, so we're both able to pick shifts that allow us to get my daughter to childcare. Somebody's there to pick her up as well. So I work an earlier shift. I start typically before 6 a.m., but I finish by 3 in order to pick her up from childcare. And my partner is able to start a little bit later so they can take her. The TTC does not offer a daycare service, but as I keep saying, the schedules are very flexible. However, it does require a balance between picking a schedule that's available to you and also having a support system around you to help you as a parent or whatever your obligations are.
Well, happy birthday to your daughter, Tia. Next question. What is involved in the medical? I have a disability. Would you still consider hiring me? Elizabeth, do you mind taking this one?
Absolutely. So the TTC conducts a pre-placement medical assessment that aims to determine if a candidate is suitable or meets the physical demands of the role that they're actually applying for. So the physical assessment and testing is carried out by a suitably qualified health professional at a third-party clinic. And the assessment includes determination of any work restrictions if required.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Here's one. Here's one. It's funny. Someone always asks this every session. What if I fail training? Barbara, over to you.
Yes, so sadly, we do have people that are not successful once in a while. So our program is similar to a college level program. So our testing, as I had mentioned earlier, is an 80% pass, but we do prepare you. We give you lots of information. We do practice before the tests so that everything is ready. You know what's coming. Obviously, we can't give you the answers, but we are there to support you along that journey. So, unfortunately, yes, sometimes people are not successful. If that does happen, so either you fail a test or you receive two unsatisfactory days, which could be anything from not being there, coming late all the time, things like that, your training would be discontinued. So if you are discontinued, you would still be eligible to apply or reapply for the operator position 12 months after the date of discontinuation.
Thank you, Barbara. You know what? We have another training question, but Elizabeth, I think this one's more for you. Do you get paid during training?
Yeah, okay. Yes, so newly hired transit operators are paid during the training program. It is a full-time training program with a 40-hour work week. It is typically scheduled Monday to Friday, and you will receive 6 hours of pay per 8-hour day of training. And payment is pre-authorized right into your checking account.
Great. Here's a PPE question. Does the TTC supply PPE for this position? Elizabeth, do you mind answering that one?
Not at all. Thank you. So, yes, it does provide PPE. It provides numerous personal protective equipment like wipes, gloves, mask, sanitizer, eye protection, and protective shields. Our dedicated safety and environment department, again, is laser focused on employee health and safety throughout all workplaces. Most PPE items can be obtained at your assigned division, and you're also provided with a safety shoe voucher at the start of your employment so that you can purchase your safety shoes.
Perfect. Here we have a question about parking tickets. So I have some parking tickets. Does that go against me? Can I still apply? Elizabeth, over to you.
Sure. So parking infractions typically do not go on your driver's abstract, but they can lead to a suspension of your license if they're left unpaid. So it is recommended that you pay your outstanding tickets in order to maintain an active and valid driver's license during the recruitment process.
I feel like that's just probably good advice all around about paying parking tickets. Here's the next question. Is the transit operator role a full-time position? What hours will I be working, and how do I select my shifts? And how long are the shifts? So Deb, do you mind answering this one?
Sure, Shabnam, happy to. So yes, the transit operator position is a full-time permanent position. There are no part-time hours that are provided or offered. You are guaranteed a 40-hour work week at a minimum. Shift sign-up is based on your seniority. So the operator selection of work is made on a 4 to 6 week rotation, depending on the mode and the division that you're assigned to.
Great. You know what, Deb, another question for you. How long is the probation period?
Sure thing. So the probationary period for the transit operator position is 10 months from the date of hire. And this has been agreed upon with the union and is outlined in the collective agreement.
So here's a good question. What happens if I'm not a Canadian citizen? You know what? I might just expand on this a bit too, because I know we get a lot of other people who do apply sometimes who may be a refugee, they may be on a work permit, they may be waiting for permanent resident status. So Bahar, do you mind just kind of touching on all those and just sort of, I guess, what do you need to apply to the TTC?
Yeah. So in order to work in Canada, you need a valid work permit or permanent resident status. So I would recommend that you review your documents to make sure that employment within the TTC is within your outlined conditions.
Great. Thank you. Here's one. Is there a restriction on how long I have been driving for? So, for example, I have had a full G license for 2 years. Barbara, do you mind taking that one?
Sure, absolutely. So there is no specific requirement for the length of time that you've had your active full driver's license. Your driving skills and abilities will be tested during the training program. Any required license upgrades will be managed through the training program. We do just ask that you maybe review some of your basic G license rules of the road. Other than that, we will work with you and we'll get you up to par. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm just mindful of the time. I think we have time for one last question. And you know what, Deborah, I'm going to give it to you. So what happens if a conflict occurs on the job? How does the TTC prepare me to deal with uncomfortable situations? So Deb, over to you.
Thanks, Shabnam. That's a great question. So part of the training operators receive is how to avoid and handle conflicts. They have the full support of our Transit Control Center, which will provide support in real time. They're only a radio call away. And this includes being able to escalate responses to get special constables and or police involved if necessary.
Great, thank you. I'm mindful that we've already spent about 90 minutes together. So I just want to thank all our panelists and all our speakers today for answering the questions. And of course, we couldn't get to all the questions, but we hope that you now have more insight into the TTC and see us as an employer of choice. Don't forget to create your candidate profile at ttc.ca/jobs and follow us on Instagram at TakeTheTTC. So I hope that we inspired you to consider a career here at the TTC in a job that can be very rewarding and fulfilling. Following this session, you will receive an email with a link to apply to the special program, and we hope to see your application submitted today with your smiling face in one of our operator seats very, very soon. On behalf of the TTC, I would like to thank you for attending our TTC Connects Women as Transit Operators information session. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye now.